A pleasant day, everyone. Welcome for today's webinar entitled Change, a Key to IT Adoption. This is Peter John Rufon, who will be with you today for explaining the importance of change management, which is a key to IT adoption. Let us first define our goal. This webinar today aims that the implementation of structured change management process to enable IT adoptions with the following objectives. At the end of the session, the participants will be able to understand the significance of change management to the organization for its IT initiatives, demonstrates understanding of the user's experience of change, and know the impact of change and what are the intervention strategies. That is why I would like to welcome you, the leaders of each department, as well as the managers of each unit of this institution, as I believe that you will be the change agent in related to the adoption of IT, as well as the change management team. Let us first define what is the change management. It is the proactive guidance of an organization and its people through changes to enable adoption of strategic and operational initiatives with a purpose that the overarching goal is to achieve the desired level of organizational performance as soon as possible and maximize the effectiveness. Change management includes organizational change management, leadership alignment, and communication activities. Let us first overview our current situations in our organization. As we know that our information system, which is ISIS, as part of our implementation, MCI has demonstrated leadership in the use of clinical systems as evidenced by becoming the first healthcare organization in the Middle East to HIMSS Analytics Stage 3 adoption status. According to MCI's strategic plan, there is a stated goal of achieving Stage 7, which will require complete EMR adoption, which will require significant changes to provide behavior, process, and technology. Now, this is where we are at now, aiming to reach Stage 7. On the other hand, our organization as well has implemented industry-leading integrated clinical system across the health system, with a strong commitment to promote adoption through the establishment of the MCI department. And upon joining our organization, all clinicians attend the training, which is structured training of our current information system, which is ISIS. Majority of patient data is also captured in ISIS. However, there's a significant amount of clinical data which is still captured in paper charts. Physicians were reported have the nursing staff enter the orders rather than directly use ISIS, indicating a need for further adoption, which is quite dangerous though. We have a closed loop medication administration. Ambulatory medication reconciliation and advanced CDS are in development. Users indicated there was no consistent process for tracking EMR usage and promoting adoptions. no evidence of clear delivery metrics, benchmarking against industry best practices, and structured continuous improvement program. Because of our current situations, that is why we're aiming for the changes in these organizations. And why is change management important into our lives here in this organization, particularly for its IT initiatives or our information technology initiatives? Please note that proactive change management will help our organization minimize common pitfalls associated with implementing an IT project and help mitigate associated risks. Successful transformations do not happen on their own. Identifying and communicating the business case for change management is imperative for success. And what does successful change management can provide us? To mention are the following. Leadership, that is why you are here today as leaders in your department and unit, is assigned on strategy, urgency for change, key actions required to execute the project. Reduces the productivity gap that will occur as a result of changing how people do their jobs and led to a return on the investment sooner. We have a critical risks are identified, managed, and mitigated. Reduces the risk of the effort failing and requiring significant additional costs to fix it after the fact, and reduces the risk of employee turnover due to stress, anxiety around the change. Also increases user commitment to the change, resulting in increased engagement around making the initiative a success. Reduces the likelihood of a disruption to the customer experience or bad press. And lastly, to increase the likelihood that the already large investment put into the project initiative will result in a successful implementation. Now, how does the change management help minimize the productivity dip associated with implementation of IT initiatives? Please note that proactive change management will help our organization achieve optimal performance faster and minimize the productivity dips. For example, in our graph today, as you can see, this will be our organizational equilibrium, which is our current state, proposing to have a changes in the future. The change management will further minimize the productivity dip, which is this. This is a dip side, wherein the goal is to minimize the dip, because for example, we have a loss of focus on their primary tasks. Okay, this is where we can find the dip is. We have a low morale due to challenging acquisition of skills, and we have a job insecurity. Where in fact, if we will be in this situation of proactive change management, then we will have an increased performance over time. How about the expectations, concerns, and reactions of the end users? It has been noted that the change requires a lot from the employees. But my question will be, does the organization always understand their concerns? Now, we have to understand and consider the user's experience. The user's experiences, such as their concerns, their expectations, and their reactions, is fairly consistent during the major changes. Let's take a look on this diagram. The upper part, which states that the organization expectations of users are the following: maintain day-to-day performance, minimize the productivity dip, adapt to change quickly, adapt changes, exhibit new behaviors and attitudes, learn new processes and systems, and minimize the negative impact of moral challenges to work. In short, the organization primarily aims to have a work done or productivity of the particular users. But what are those concerns of the users that may perhaps impact on adoption to change? They are as the following: workflow, performance expectations, leadership credibility, impact on their colleagues, job security, career path, future with the organizations. On the other hand, the end users has an expectations on us, such as that this change will be communicated properly, that they will be treated fairly and justly amidst the change, and they will be informed accurately and consistently, and lastly, that they will be trained on changes to daily job tasks. It is acceptable that end users' initial reactions will be a feeling of powerless, normal feeling that says always they did not have a choice rather to follow and adapt to change. Secondly, they have to cling to old ways of working. They have fear associated with previous failed change initiatives. They have negative attitude toward proposed changes. And lastly, struggle with prioritizing work. Now, how does it impact? How does the change impact, and what will be our intervention strategies? Let's say, for example, first question will be, who is impacted by this workflow? Of course, the stakeholder group. It could be people working in a post-anesthesia care unit or in the intensive care unit. Then, what will be the role of the nurses with this workflow changes? What would be the role of the physicians, ambulatory physicians, and the technicians and the other staff members? Another question would be, how will they be impacted? They will be impacted through the processes, through the involvement of the people around, by the policy governing on this particular procedure, or a technology with a new different as a result of the change. Now, another question would be, what do they need to know? Why and when? Then, the information that needs to be communicated, we have to bear this in mind, that the trained or even dedicated as a part of this process. Why and when? To the extent to which it is relevant to each role as it relates to other activities. Another query would be, how will they perceive this change? Well, it could be perceived positively or negatively. Or it could be high, medium, or low. Another query perhaps would be, how can we engage them most effectively? Now, possibly, the existing department meetings, flexibility, availability of their other events, and the preferred communication or method. It could be through email or it could be through person. Now, what are the interventions, the community impacts? Well, as operational leaders and the change management team, they will collaborate on a targeted change readiness roadmap for each departmental or department unit based on change impacts. There are 6 focus areas will monitor overall adoption, such as goals. Is there change for is the case for change compelling and clear to all? Another focus would be alignment. Are leaders and key stakeholders visibly supporting the change? How about the design? Is the change designed effectively through engagement of the right people? Infrastructure. Are the right resources, processes, and tools in place to execute the change? Next will be readiness. Are impacted stakeholders willing and prepared to adopt? Lastly will be the sustainability. Does the change have sufficient ongoing investment and ownership? What would be the message and delivery tactics progressively increase involvement? As you can see in our diagram, the change management teams, messaging, and activities will evolve from discussion to hands-on activities with increased end-user involvement, from creating awareness, going to facilitate engagement until the end user got involved during the go live. Initially, there will be a general discussion, and of course there will be a discussion specific to changes, such as through cascading communication, review workflow changes, and disseminate high impact, as well as to answer frequently asked questions. Hands-on participation will be the next step, wherein a system demonstrations is expected, include as well the targeted training and learning sessions, and training videos, roadshows, tip sheets, cascading, and communications. And lastly, there will be practice new skills and expectations from the end user through personalization labs, provide practice opportunities via cyber cafes and workflow dress rehearsals, cascading communications. This is just a classic example on how does the change or how does the end user get be involved from the first time that they receive such awareness of change, got involved until they got facilitated engagement and got involved on the activities. How will we facilitate engagement? There are several ways how you will participate or facilitate the engagement. And of course, the change management and activation team will again collaborate to plan and deploy multiple activities leading up to go live. So starting with a staffed cyber cafe as an example, where we can provide an environment to practice with multiple computers with defined hours led by trained staff to assist end users with practice. We can also provide a show exercise to conduct a parallel documentation of provider patient care in AMR, and identify workflow, technical, and operational pain points. Targeted practices, activities with this example, personalization labs, demonstrations, cascading communication. And go live rapid response teams, and a retirement party. Now, how could we promote adoption? The change management team will collaborate with other involved groups to plan the following activities post go live. Of course, after the go live date, then there will be post go live training to formalize sessions with end users to review problems areas identified at go live, then develop videos and webinars. Example will be creation on short workflow specific videos, and compile tip sheets, tips and shortcuts to address most frequent questions post go live, and begin optimization, prioritize post go live requests, and formal or informal sessions to end users to share and communicate learnings. So this will be the shared learning stage. This will improve efficiency. Is there any questions? I hope that today's webinars has given you an insight related to change management in adoption of related to in relations to adopting an IT or information technology in a certain organizations. And hopefully this will be of great opportunity for all of us, you leaders particularly present here in today's webinars. This will be a good preparation for us in the future's adoptions of IT. Unless there's questions, I think that will be enough for today. And to share with you with the references that I have are the following. Unless you have questions, thank you and have a nice day.